The following podcast will contain spoilers, tangents, hot takes, and excessive foul language. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, horror fans, and welcome to episode 354 of Frightmares. I'm your host, Austin Proctor, and joining me today for 2025's Weapons is Gabrielle Proctor.
Hey.
Wow. Don't bring too much happiness and joy.
I'm sorry, I'm cold.
I can't hear you. What are you saying?
I'm cold.
Well, this happens every time.
Yep.
Yeah. Why don't you get a jacket?
Okay, bye.
Okay. All right, so she's going to go get a jacket because Okay, this is such a great start. Yeah, she complains about it being cold in here every time, but refuses to bring a jacket and wants me to turn the fan off. And then halfway through the episode, I start burning up. So, nothing you can do to cool off besides turn on the fan. So here we are, talking into the void with no one else here. This is wonderful. God forbid there was one. Yes. Anyways, we did it. 1975 to 2025, 50 years of horror. One
50
movie.
years of doing it.
Wow. It's okay. Lost my train of thought. This is great. I can't believe the years are. It's already done. We're done.
We did it.
It started with the Stepford Wives, ending with Weapons. What a ride. And obviously there will not be a Oscar segment, but I do have I made a little list of things I would like to see nominated that probably will not be nominated, but what do you know, it happens.
Yeah.
So my history with Weapons is very brief. I saw it in theaters and liked it so much, I went and saw it again in theaters, and then we just watched it. So I've seen Weapons 3 times this year, as I have seen 28 Years Later 3 times. I think I've seen Sinners 3 times. Been rewatching a lot of movies because I needed to make sure they were at the place I wanted them to be for the top 10. So it's been a fun year. And I saw Together twice as well, because I showed that one to you, which you really enjoyed. So
Yes, I did.
So I'm going to just keep saying that. And we didn't see this one together, weirdly enough. We were not able to link up for this. I saw this with Spencer. You saw this with Will and Heather. And then we, like I said, we both just watched it before we did the episode. So, yeah, kind of sucked not seeing it with you in theaters because it was so
We
good.
didn't have a babysitter that day.
I know, but I did see it at the 2:17 p.m. time when I saw it with Spencer, so that was fun. They did that for the kids going missing at 2:17. I was like, it's random to do, but here we are. Good time, though. It was crazy in IMAX. Where'd you see it at?
I saw it at the Amstar, which had Dolby. It's a nice theater.
It doesn't have Dolby.
It has Dolby audio.
Yeah,
It says
Dolby.
so on big placards.
Yeah, Dolby
everywhere.
audio, but it's not like the Dolby
It's pretty
cinema.
damn loud in there. And cold, but they have recliners. It's surprisingly nice given the dated appearance. It's been well maintained, and
that's
the
nice.
inside of the theaters, like the seats have all been redone, so they're like really, really nice in there.
Yeah, AMC needs to get on that, so.
They're getting funky.
Look, okay, if the West Oaks Mall can have recliners in every theater, I think the Altamont one should as well. So,
Yeah.
anywho, we will get to Weapons in a moment, but before we do that, we got to do this, except we're changing it for the last episode. Instead of what did Jason Hill make me watch, it's what did I make Jason Hill watch? That's what we're doing. I've seen entirely too many horror movies for this year, and it was just easier for me to pick something that he hadn't seen. So we're flipping it and reversing it like Missy Elliott. So I picked a movie for him that I had seen called Match, and that is from this year, to be original, by
Yes.
Danishka. what's her name? Danishka Esterhazy. She also did the Banana Splits movie, Slumber Party Massacre. Oh, and Killer Body Count. That one. That really, really sad one.
One with lots of butts in it.
Yeah, that sad one. But Match, the description is, after Paola is matched with a handsome online suitor, she arrives for a first date to discover a house full of dark and terrifying secrets. This movie was all the buzz on the TikToks and the Instagrams, and it's just a picture. The poster is a picture of a lady covering her face holding a match, and I figured that a match, I didn't read the description, I went into it blind. I figured it was going to be some survival thing where all she had was a match. Boy, was I wrong. Couldn't have been more different than that. Sure, there's a couple of matches thrown in there, but no, it matches the dating profile. This might be like the most unhinged movie of the year. I don't know. In terms of every 20 minutes, you're going to say, what the fuck?
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And you watched this one with me. What did you think of Match?
I thought it was icky. So there's that. It was missing something for me. Overall, I thought it was good, but like it was just kind of missing something for me.
What was it missing? That's je ne sais quoi.
Exactly. I think it was missing some more character depth and characters not making deeply stupid decisions.
Yeah, but that's the fun part.
This lady would not have gotten as far as she did if it weren't for the rather low IQ of the people wandering around her.
Yeah, that's fair. They were all pretty dumb. But I really enjoyed it. It gets a, well, let's see. What does it actually have? I don't even remember.
2.6.
There's a 2.6 out of 5. I'm not going to talk much more about it because you just need to go into it blind. 2.6. I gave it a 4, and it's not a 4 in terms of like quality, although it does look good. Like, it had a good production value. It was more of a 4 more of a 4 in terms of just like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
Batshit insanity.
It's more of a vibe thing.
More of a vibe, yeah. Jason gave it a 2.5, and he said there's a Sister episode from like 1997 that has this exact plot. And fun fact, there is. It's called Dangerous Encounter, where one of the Tamara, they meet a friend online and then go to meet them in real life, and it's a guy. And then the guy catfished them. And I'm like, that seems ahead of its time for 1997.
No,
but,
the life lessons episodes of the 90s.
Bro, the internet didn't really become popular until like 95. So that's just weird that early they were already having a commentary on media.
Remember, with the internet, the first biggest fear was strangers.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, that's a Match. Like I said, if you want to watch it on Tubi, go check it out. Jason's not going to say anything, so I guess I'll say... Austin says, check it out. You'll probably hate it. So there you go. I don't have any fun sound effects. Maybe this one. Just leave that in there. Anywho, we're not going to move on to Oscar winners, but I can tell you the highest grossing movies so far as of today. Apparently Lilo and Stitch made $1.03 billion. So good for them. And the highest grossing horror movie, The Conjuring: The Last Rites, no surprise there, $494.2 million. Next year will be the 98th Academy Awards on March 15th, 2026, honoring movies released in this year. So here is my speculation / people that I think should be nominated. So for Best Actor, we have Leo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another. Then we have Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, Brendan Fraser for Rental Family, Alfie Williams for 28 Years Later, and of course Indy from Good Boy.
Yeah,
because he is the goodest boy. Actor in a supporting role, Benicio del Toro, One Battle After Another, Ralph Fiennes, 28 Years Later, Miles Caton for Sinners, Jack O'Connell for Sinners, and Alden Ehrenreich for Weapons, because he was really good. Best Actress, Julia Garner for Weapons, Regina Hall, One Battle After Another, and Haley Steinfeld. That should say Sinners, because her name was Mary. There we go.
You got it. It's fine. You're fine.
Actress in a supporting role, Chase Infinity, One Battle After Another, Elle Fanning for Predator Badlands, and Andreen Ward-Hammond for Sinners. Cinematography, Autumn Durad Arkapaw for Sinners, Anthony Dodd Mantle for 28 Years Later, Larkin Sepul for Weapons, and Michael Bauman for One Battle After Another. Director, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler, Sinners, Zach Kreger, Weapons. Danny Boyle, 28 years later. And then Best Picture, skipped one. Musical score, Ludwig Göransson for Sinners. Johnny Greenwood, One Battle After Another. Young Fathers, 28 years later. And John Powell / Steven Schwartz, Wicked for Good. And then these 4 movies better be on there, if you can't tell by now. One Battle After Another, Sinners, Weapons. And I threw Begonia on there just because I feel like it, I don't know.
Probably.
Maybe.
So
that's my want list or my wish list for the Oscars. Genuinely, though, if Leo DiCaprio absolutely deserves Best Actor for One Battle After Another. That is by far the best role he has ever played. And he's had a lot of great roles. So, I don't know. I still need to show you that, but it did pop up on Max or something.
Yeah.
So we'll watch that at some point. But I need Sinners to win. I don't care if just one thing.
Yeah.
Give Sinners one thing. Because if it doesn't get one win, I lose faith.
Yeah, that's fair.
Entirely in the Oscars. So, but I know I told you this. The Ugly Stepsister is on the Oscar shortlist for Best Hair and Makeup. So,
which is nice, yeah.
That's cool. Because that's like not everyone's heard of the Ugly Stepsister. So that's pretty cool that they're including that one for some sort of Oscar shit. It's good we're blowing through this now because we're going to have a lot to say. Let's go to the IMDb Roundup. This is Weapons from this year, released on August 8th of this year. Like I just said, rated R for strong, bloody violence and grisly images, language throughout, some sexual content, and drug use. That's a lot. There is mild sex and nudity, severe violence and gore, moderate profanity, really interesting, moderate alcohol, drugs, and smoking, and severe frightening and intense scenes, coming in at 2 hours and 8 minutes, listed as a horror mystery. Directed by Zach Kreger, who I've been calling Zach Krieger for a very long time.
Yep.
It's definitely Kreger. Or maybe it's not. Maybe I was right the first time. He also directed Barbarian. Zach Kreger wrote this, as well as Barbarian. He also composed this, along with 2 other people. This is his only credit for composing. But then we have Hayes and Ryan Holiday, who really have only done this film. It's very interesting when I see that, because the score on this was fantastic. So it's like, I hope you have a good career. I hope you continue to do good things. Cinematography by Larkin Siepel, who also did the cinematography for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Edited by Joe Murphy, who edited Barbarian. Talk about a cast here. Holy shit. Starring Julia Garner as Justine, who most people would probably know from Ozark.
Yes.
As Ruth Langmore, 44 episodes of that. Carrie Christopher as Alex. He was in 57 episodes of Days of Our Lives as Thomas DeMira.
All right, then.
Good for him. Josh Brolin as Archer, who you should know as Thanos in the Avenger movies. Benedict Wong as Marcus. He's also been in many a Marvel movie as Wong. Austin Abrams as James. He was in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark as Tommy Milner. And Alden Ehrenreich, I can't fucking say his name, as Paul. He was in Solo as Han Solo. Estimated budget of $38 million, grossing $268.7. I know Jordan Peele is really, that's why he fired everybody, because they didn't get him this movie. Filmed in Atlanta and Covington, Georgia. Jason told me that they filmed this in Covington, and I was like, man, I was just there. Could have.
Yeah, we literally went there to go see like Vampire Diaries places and Dr. Sleep.
From Weapons.
I saw that it was like the gas station, and I'm like, I don't know where that gas station is.
I would have found it. Just started running through there with my arms, Naruto style.
Right through the cars. It's fine.
Right through the doors. You can watch this on HBO Max. Movies that came out around the same time. I mean, we're living in these times, but anyways. Eddington, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Smurfs, The Fantastic Four First Steps, House on Eden, The Home, Together, The Naked Gun, Freakier Friday, Strange Harvest, Jimmy and Stiggs, Nobody 2, The Roses, The Toxic Avenger, and The Conjuring 4. IMDb summary. When all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanished on the same night at exactly the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. This is Weapons.
This is a true story that happened in my town. So this one Wednesday is like a normal day for the whole school. But today was different. Every other class had all their kids. But Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty. And do you know why? Because the night before, at 2:17 in the morning, every kid woke up, got out of bed, walked downstairs, and into the dark. And they never came back.
I don't understand at all. Why just her classroom? Why only hers?
Where are our children?
We have a lot of emotional parents here. I think it's best if you keep some distance from this place.
Matthew, where are you? Where did you go?
This is where the story really starts.
So, Gabby, overall thoughts on Weapons?
What a waste of time. No, I'm kidding. No, what a
Fucking
great.
bogus!
I saw one trailer for this. And I'm like, all right, well, that's enough information. And kind of avoided anything about it. I remember the only reason I went to see it with friends was because it was Will's birthday. And kind of had to bully Will into making plans
As
for
you
his
do.
birthday. And going in with no expectations, leaving it so mysterious just pays off so much more than when you get those trailers where you know everything that's going to happen. Sometimes I'm excited to see trailers because I'm like, what are we in for?
Yeah.
But sometimes, like in this case, I think the less I know, the better, especially knowing Zach Krieger did, Krieger, whatever his name is, did Barbarian. The less we knew, the better.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that just made it such a great film to watch.
I agree. My overall thoughts stopped at halfway through a sentence, so that's fun. This is truly one of the most.
That's true. Great thoughts. Moving on. Next question.
One of the most original and brilliant films of
It's
the
a Mad Lib.
21st
People fill in.
century. Give me
One
a
of the
noun.
most. Okay, now you fill it out. It's a
I
game.
need a verb.
Email it in.
It's a perfect movie. I don't know what you want from me. I have nothing but good things to say about this. I don't have any dislikes outside of two random small questions. But I tried the second and third time to find a hole in the story, and I can't. So it's goddamn perfect. That's my overall thoughts. So opening scene is it's fine in my opinion. I don't know. It didn't particularly draw me in. I would say I was drawn in by the fact that it was just another Zach Krieger movie, which I was. But the opening scene with the narration, I get what they were going for, but I wasn't fond of the girl being. She was like, and like they were totally embarrassed. I don't know. It's very weird. I don't know. What do you think about that?
It sounds like a kid talking, so.
I know, but it sounded like a kid reading a script. Like, it sounded like someone.
Certainly wasn't my favorite part of the film, if that helps.
Yeah, but with that being said, it does set the story up exactly the way it needed to be set up by the time you get into the segmented part of the movie. So not really a cold open, more of like a kind of just setting the tone for what's going on. And really, it tells you exactly the same amount of information as the trailer, just a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's the same information you get from the trailer. And I think that's important because if you remember way back in March when we talked to Daniel Stamm, who directed The Last Exorcism, he mentioned that studios, that you need like 6 or 7 trailer moments from a movie at minimum to be able to put together a good, a trailer that will attract people to the audience. So if you don't have like 6 or 7 of those moments, then they're going to have to use like key pivotal scenes to get people to come into the theaters. But I mean, what they had in Weapons, you're like, this is enough to get me there. People are Naruto running, and Benedict Wong's face is very odd. I'm just gonna go see it.
Yeah.
So what worked? I mean, everything for me, literally everything. Oh wait, before we do that, things you might have missed because I've seen it 3 times. And I pointed a couple of these out to you. So you can actually see Alex's dad and Aunt Gladys in that shot, the opening narration scene. The camera's very low behind the couch, but you can see Gladys's red hair and you can see Alex's dad, who's clearly under the spell, which I thought was fun. James, the homeless guy, is seen at the beginning of the movie in Justine's segment asking for money. I didn't notice that until my second watch, probably because I wasn't looking for him. Archer painting Justine's car with witch on it. Then you come to find out that there's an actual witch in this movie. I thought that was interesting. He literally puts it right in front of our face at the beginning of the movie, that with witch on her car. And then Justine calls herself a witch 2 more times at the bar. So literally witch is mentioned 3 times in like 20 minutes and never saw that coming.
Yeah, they're like, what? It's a witch.
What do you mean? Then the door opening by itself when Alex first goes home, like when Justine follows Alex, you can see the door open, but it clearly opens and closes on its own. And then the 7 hot dogs that Marcus and his husband eat is actually a reference to The Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah, it was in reference to a friend.
Yeah, it was Trevor, the one who passed away. He plays a doctor, and this guy, I think it's Timmy, comes in and he's like, "How many hot dogs do you eat a day?" And he's like, 7. And there was 7 hot dogs. So that was a little nod to Trevor. Anyways, what worked? Literally everything. I mean, I don't even know. Where do we start with this movie? Where do we begin?
We'll find our way. Just go anywhere.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. For a movie that has so many moving pieces, like I said, I can't find a hole in it anywhere. I mean, maybe someone out there has, and maybe that's why they don't like it. But I do feel that the storytelling is the strongest part of this movie, because they don't only break it up into segments, but they break it up into segments specifically centered around an individual. So you get to get character development, backstory, and then how the story moves is really fun, because you see Justine's segment and then you go to Archer, but like we backtrack just a little bit and then we get to the moment where we saw Justine's and then we go a little bit past it. So it's like this really interesting narrative where you back up, go forward, and then back up again. You know what I mean? I think that's very fascinating. And then of course by the end in Alex's segment, everything starts to link up together.
Well, they did a similar thing, and he also did a similar thing in Barbarian, where you spend the first half with somebody and then the next portion with another character, and then in the end they're together, so you're seeing both of them.
That's true.
The movies feel more intimate because you're staying with these characters and you're not really getting much interactions with anybody who's not relevant.
Right.
You might get some minor ones here or there, but if they're not that important, you're really not going to spend any time with them. And it makes it feel like you're really in their space, not we're in movie land where everybody's interacting with everybody and people say quippy one-liners as you walk by. You feel like you're just living in their little world for a little bit.
And I 100% agree with that, because there's even, like what you said, if someone's not really important, they don't really go into them or into their story. Like Archer's wife. We see Archer's wife 1 fucking time.
Yeah.
That's it. And she goes, "I'm leaving for work," and then she leaves.
I mean, you see Paul's, whatever the hell she is, like 1 scene, and then you get her on the phone.
Twice, maybe?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You get her in 2 scenes, and she's barely important. She just, but, you know, it's just important to them at that moment. And same thing with, what's the principal's name? Benedict Wong's character.
Oh, Marcus.
Marcus's husband. You barely get him. He's just in there for a little bit. And I think that also raises the stakes too, because if you feel like you're that close to these characters, you feel like you're right in the thick of it with them. Whatever danger or stressors or anything they're experiencing, you're in it with them.
And can we just thank Zach Kreger for introducing a gay couple like it's not a big deal?
It's irrelevant to the plot.
Oh, no, I know, but
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like typically it's like, oh, these characters are gay. Like
Gay.
we have to make it known, and we just find out because they're shopping together, picking out food, and you're like, oh, he's got a husband, or at least I assume.
Yeah, there was something else I was watching recently too, where it was like, oh, there's a trans character, and they never bring up the fact that they're trans. It's just like, yeah, they're there. They just exist, and
like regular people, crazy.
Which is amazing. Let's start putting people in films and just acting like it's normal, because it is.
Yeah, because I remember when Spencer and I were watching it, you see Marcus plenty of times, and then when he's shopping with his, I assume husband, I don't know if they specifically state, partner, we'll just say. I looked over and I was like, oh.
That's his husband.
I didn't know if they actually stated husband.
Yeah, it's his husband.
Oh, okay. Well, I looked at Spencer. I was like, oh, he's gay. Cool. We're like, okay. Like, didn't need to throw it. Like, didn't need to be like, hey, let's make a big deal of this. So I appreciate that. They can just put them in the script like it's normal, because it is normal. Something too, though, that I find interesting that you mentioned about if a character is not necessarily important to the plot, they don't really go into it. I genuinely want to know, because we don't know if Justine knows. Does she know Paul is an alcoholic going to AA? We don't really.
She doesn't know that. They have a history together of
but we don't know.
Getting drunk together.
Right.
And all we know is that Paul refused to drink at first, but he still showed up to a bar, which was a terrible start.
Terrible start if you're in AA, let me tell you.
And that he lied and said that he was
we're not a thing right now.
We're not happening right now. He made a misleading statement because she was out of town. Like, we're not happening because she's out of town. But it made, like, we're not technically together right now because there's a literal distance between us.
Yeah, kind of a scumball. Or scumbag. Whatever.
I don't know why I felt mildly bad for Paul the first time, and the second time when I processed that he was made a misleading statement to Justine. And then Justine takes the hit from Paul's girlfriend or fiance or whatever for sleeping with him when she was told that they weren't together. It's like, no, that's Paul.
Yeah.
Clearly this is a bad history thing, though, so you guys should really stop interacting.
I honestly think Paul's girlfriend or fiance was more upset at the fact that he drank. Because she knows that he's in AA. They talk about going to meetings. Obviously, I'm sure she's pissed about the cheating. Or we don't even know. She might not even know about that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Given Paul and how he lies, he might have just said, oh, I was at the bar all night. He might not even know. Well, she did go after Justine.
Yeah, I was going to say. And you can already tell that his boss / would-be father-in-law is over it.
Their chemistry is great, though.
Paul doesn't want to be anywhere near any of it.
No.
And yet he is choosing to cause trouble in his own life constantly by making the worst decisions possible.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw it in theaters and he gets a call from his girlfriend and she's like, are you going to hit a meeting? I was like, he's an alcoholic, 100%. And I was like, you don't just, when you say you're going to go hit a meeting, that's an AA meeting. And then I was like, yep, I was right. Nailed it.
You and I talked about, we caught that even further. As soon as he came into the bar and was sitting away from the bar, and when he got a drink, the first thing he said was a Coke. And like, it kind of felt like before we even were told, we knew.
Oh, okay. I thought the scene I mentioned.
No, Justine was first.
Oh,
and then
okay.
It was, yeah. But like you and I both said how we clocked pretty quickly that he was in recovery. But then you're like, but also he's in a bar. So
yeah, alcohol's a fickle bitch. Okay, it's not fun. So yeah, you don't really get much information on their backstory, their background,
and it doesn't matter.
Well, because it's like I want to know, but it's not important.
Yeah, it's not.
It would have been cool to know, but it's
not relevant to the main story. It is part of their lives, so it's still like, there's a balance that's happening between these are things that are really happening in someone's life, like they still go about their day to day. This isn't magical TV land where all other things disappear, but we don't actually need all that information to get from point A to point B. So we see it, we don't need it.
Yeah, and they play off each other so well that I don't need the backstory. I can tell that they've been through enough.
Yeah.
They've been through some things and stuff together just by the way they interact with each other, and it's very apparent with their chemistry.
Yeah, and you really do need those scenes to that extent to give you a sense of who these characters are. Do we like them? Do we not like them? Are they heroes? Are they villains? Are they reliable? Like, you have to have that information, and if they only react in the plot line, you're never going to see anything else.
Now, I do sympathize with Paul to an extent. Obviously, I wasn't out there lying and cheating, so I'm not going to condone cheating, but as someone who was in the thick of it with alcohol, you make very stupid decisions all the time, and you constantly lie. So I sympathize for the alcoholic in him, but not him making the decisions he was making.
Doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, I'm not justifying this behavior because it's still terrible, but a part of I saw myself in him because I was like, God, I used to just lie about fucking everything when I was drinking. So. He played the part very well, and Zach Kreger had mentioned that I believe kind of the themes of this movie, at least I picked up on the themes of alcoholism. I think he said that was one of the themes of this movie was addiction.
Yeah. Well, you and I had a whole discussion about why did her name just leave my head?
Which one?
The lead.
Justine?
Yeah, Justine. About her binge drinking through the whole movie. I'm like, does this make her an alcoholic? Because if it ends, if it ends when the events end, is she no longer? But it kind of, the way the energy you get from her and Paul's interaction, is it as regular for them to go get blasted together?
Yeah.
And then she is just straight chugging vodka through the first 25 minutes of that movie.
I mean, to be fair, if I was in her situation where a group of parents were, assumed I had done something with 17 children, I'd probably be drinking as well.
But in the fucking big gulp, oh my God. It literally was like, you know what? I'm 5 feet, 100 pounds. I'm going to chug my body weight in vodka and see what that does.
Yeah. I mean,
and you get a tolerance, but hot damn, that girl was powering through.
See, I put them in tumblers, I don't put it in a big gulp because that's not going to stay cold. The ice will melt.
It's good.
It's good stuff. But not only with a visual representation of people consuming alcohol, there's also James. He's I assume meth head, crackhead. I don't know. He's got a crack pipe and needles, so he's doing some drugs.
He's a tweaker.
But even the representation from the parents who are under the power of Gladys's black magic or whatever. And it kind of represents, the kids having to step up and be the parents when their parents are alcoholics and they have to, kind of help out more than they should as a kid. I picked up on that, not because my parents were alcoholics, but just because I was. Well, I mean, I guess I'm never going to not be.
We know what you mean.
I'm just sober.
Sober.
And it's up to, it's up to kids to break that cycle of addiction by figuring out a way to overcome it. So at least that's the vibe I got from the movie was kind of a metaphor for alcoholism and the generational impact it can have.
Oh no, I totally get that. The way they it's creepy when he comes into the home and his parents are sitting there and they just regurgitate the same thing over there.
Yeah.
They're asking these sentences, these questions that really are yes and no questions. You answer them and you're done. They're not conversational questions. Did you have a good day at school? Yes or no? That's it. And how are you? Good. They don't really give you this conversation. So when he comes in, they're just devoid of emotion, and he is now victim to not only taking care of them, but he is just left exposed to danger while the other adults around him, his teacher sees it, which is very common. I've seen many, many teachers talk about when they can tell the kids are having problems at home.
Oh, yeah.
But he's left wide open to all sorts of dangers. Nobody questions the fucking, 8-year-old walking to and from the grocery store with a lifetime supply of soup. That was a TikTok trend. It was and there's this kid. He never stops buying fucking soup. Why does he need so much soup? And yeah, so it absolutely reads as a kid dealing with parents with addiction. There's a lot of different, each of the characters could easily take a part of that. Even Archer, the parent who lives in regret of what they missed because they weren't paying attention.
And see, I thought his addiction was more about control. Honestly, yeah. Because an addiction doesn't have to be a substance; it can be anything. Because he wants to be in control, but he also, when he's seeing his son in that, I guess it's a nightmare. It's not really a dream at that point because it's a fucking hellscape. But yeah, he wanted to save for so long, And I guess he clearly, like, I'm assuming he wanted to say, I love you. Is that what he wanted to say? Because it's like, I've been wanting to say it for so long. I just haven't. Because then he says, I love you. Is that what he was meaning? Or
Yeah, I mean, you could even say that because of how closed off Archer was and the extreme regret he clearly feels now that his son isn't even there. It's that regret of what you didn't do when you could have, because you were letting your own problems hold you back from the people you cared about. So that's easily a part of the addiction story right there.
That's true. And he's all, we know from the story that he is some sort of a contractor, building a house. So maybe he's not home a lot. Maybe he's very busy. Maybe he doesn't make enough time for his son.
And he's regularly making mistakes at work now.
Yeah, well, if my kid went missing, I think I'd probably be making a lot of mistakes too, but I'm sure that's not helping his conscience or his regrets or anything like that.
No.
Funny you mentioned the kid walking home with soup, because that was one of not what didn't work necessarily, but it was more of a question. Like, not one cashier at the supermarket got a little suspicious of Alex buying enough soup to feed about 17 missing kids. No, we're not gonna say anything about that.
I think it was weird that we've established that the cops in this town are not. They said they did a thorough investigation, and then they kind of just, okay, well, we don't know what happened after that. Because honestly, if you have a class of that many kids and only one's left,
you're watching that one like a hawk.
Right? What is that one doing? Does that one exhibiting anything? Should we be concerned about what he's doing? But no one notices that the mail is piling up on their lawn and their windows are boarded up now. And
except for James. He's the only one that notices all the newspapers in the driveway.
Well, and
that's why he goes inside.
Yeah, and Justine is like, what's up with all the windows? Because they're actually looking. The narration even says the cops are just embarrassed that they couldn't figure it out. So they're pretending like
it's not.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know. Well, it's funny you say that, because it almost feels like a weird commentary. And I have no idea. This is, again, just what I'm getting from the movie. Feels like a weird kind of commentary on police and how sometimes they just don't do enough, or they won't dig into something enough, because two civilians figure out what's going on before the cops do. I mean, they figure this out in a matter of days, as opposed to the cops who have been doing this for a month. All it took was Justine going to Justin's house, knocking on the door and being like, whoa, the windows are plastered with newspaper. What is going on here? And calling her, her principal, Marcus, who, God bless that man, because honestly, he could have reported her to, I don't know, the school board or something, because that's inappropriate behavior. And she's already had that kind of inappropriate behavior at a previous school.
With a consenting adult.
Well, no, but she took that kid home, remember?
Oh, yeah, she gave a kid a ride home once.
She also gave a kid a ride home once. So Marcus could have easily probably got her fired, but he knows that she loves her job. But eventually when Justine and Archer, link up, they solve what's going on. And I guess James kind of helps a little bit as well. Although he does get turned into a brainless fucking... I mean, what do you think? Was a zombie at this point? Are they zombies? Because, I guess they're not dying and coming back to life, but they're under a spell.
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, that kind of feels like a commentary on cops need to do their jobs better or something like that, because sometimes it's very simple to find out who did what. It just takes a matter of willpower. Because I find it crazy that Justine is able to figure it out so quickly. It's also ballsy of her to do that too, to go follow him home and kind of do this investigating. I wouldn't be touching that.
I think it's really funny every time Archer busts out that laser and starts and finds 2 points to start digging in on where these kids are going. Because you need 3 points to figure out, to plot on a map.
Yeah.
And I always think it's really, really funny in my mind, because I've watched so many detective shows or Supernatural, Bones, and any one of those characters from that show would have immediately been like, but what direction were they going? Okay, if they're going this, they would have been on Archer's page from the get-go. And I always think that's really funny, because in my mind, I'm like, how did nobody else do this? Probably because this isn't a detective show.
Well, yeah, and
the detectives were inept.
The way that Archer kind of figures it out, though, is interesting, because he has the video footage of his son running in that way. And then when he sees Wong running the same way, that's when he tells Justine, he's like, I've seen that run before, and this is strange. Also, I made this map of these are where these two kids ran towards, so I don't know what's going on. And then she's like, oh my God, Alex's house. And you're like, oh shit, okay. So really, when I first started the movie and we got to that point where they were trying to map out where it was, I don't know where. Do you remember what you were thinking in the theaters? Because I had the dumbest theory, and I was like, "Oh, what if it crosses over Justine's house for some reason?" And I was like, "No, that doesn't make any sense." I could not figure out what they were trying to tell me.
Since Justine had already been to the house at that point and thought it was sketchy weird, I'm like, "What are they, like in the fucking attic up there in that house or something?"
Yeah.
So my first thought was his house.
Interesting. Okay.
It was just like, what are they, like in the attic so the cops didn't see him there? But I was like, wait, if they are there, how the cops didn't see him?
Yeah. The basement. See, and
they had them run out of the house.
Well, yeah, they had them run out of the house, but they were staying in the basement. And see, and I'm so used to living in Florida that I forget basements are common in most other states. So I'm not thinking that, maybe all the kids are trapped in the basement or something. That's not where my head is going. Something interesting that I noticed on this watch specifically that I wanted to point out with the camera work in two different scenes, which I told you about, but and they both take place in Justine's segment. When she visits the liquor store the first time, the camera is directly behind her and it's a following shot. So it's following her through the aisles and it's a very tight shot around her shoulders and her head to convey a sense of anxiety or, because she's on alert and she's trying to make sure no one's after her. But then after her and Paul hook up, she's flipping her keys around. The camera is now facing her and following the same path. But this time she's not really worried about anybody. And there's actually someone coming after her and it's Paul's fiance. So I thought that was a really interesting thing to do with the same exact shot, but from two different ways, because to me, it conveys two different types of emotions.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't think that was unintentional. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what Kreger was doing. Did you enjoy, a lot of people have complained kind of about the comedy in this, like this movie shouldn't be funny or it was too funny. What did you think about that? Because I think it's incredibly hard to toe that line between horror and comedy, because 1 minute I'm laughing hysterically and then the next minute this woman is getting ripped limb from limb.
I think that life isn't one or the other. So there are going to be moments, even in dark times, that are funny. I went to a funeral once, and this was in the 2000s, and we were at the wake at this person's house where their dad had passed away. And this was at the 2000s where there was commercials about cell signal. And what I started to blurt out to Heather, my friend, was, it's a total dead zone in here. And I stopped myself just in time, but I was trying so hard not to laugh because this is a sad moment. This guy was my boss and he had died, and he was my friend's dad and he died. And then I almost made a crack about dead zones in the house he died in. And I couldn't stop. Like I was biting my tongue.
You didn't say anything, but you were laughing.
I told her about it later and we were laughing, and I was like, because I leaned over, I'm like, I almost said it was a dead zone in here. And she's like, oh my God, no.
Wow.
And we were, we had a laugh about it later because it would have been really inappropriate to laugh at that time. But the thing is whether or not there is a dark moment happening, you can still find levity in those moments and you can still find humor in humorous things. And I think naturally people look for that kind of stuff to ease that tension. So I think it's extremely normal, and it worked really well in this film because it keeps you in this very normal emotional state. It can't be adrenaline all the time.
No, you're 100% accurate. And much like my bloody much like Hard Eyes and Josh Rubin, I feel like anyone who watched Hard Eyes and didn't like it or didn't get it needs to go see Josh Rubin's comedy because then it'll all make sense. I think people that didn't like the comedy in this, if you haven't seen The Whitest Kids You Know, you need to go watch that show, because then all of the comedy and Weapons and Barbarian will make so much more sense, because it's, Zach Kreger was one of the whitest kids you know. But I loved it. There were times I thought there was a little too much comedy, but honestly, watching it the second and third time, I was like, no, there's a perfect amount of both. Like I said, watching Gladys get chased by all those kids, like especially that lawnmower moment when the guy stops his lawnmower and Gladys is like, ah! And then there's a pause, and then the kids all start screaming. Like, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and the thing is that scene from a third-party perspective is funny.
Is funny.
And frankly, we should not all be terrified in this moment. We should be delighted that this woman who has been absolutely wrecking all these people's lives, regardless of the level of good they were to begin with, and just killing people and abusing them left and right, especially that sweet little angel boy.
Yeah.
Like, she took his parents away forever. This is a moment we should feel joy and we should be happy about our demise. And if it's funny too, sweet. She doesn't deserve this dark, brooding ending. She deserves to be laughed at.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember a time back in my youth, when I didn't understand horror comedies. I was like, horror's not supposed to be funny. That doesn't make any sense. I was like that. So
yeah.
I'm imploring people to, if the comedy doesn't work for you in this, to like I said, do some research on Zach Cregger, see where he's come from. It might make the jokes in this, have a little more context to them as to why it's so goofy.
Now, not to say there's not films where it's like they need to pick a lane, but horror and comedy absolutely go together. Those are two strong emotions that you can easily cross over. People just don't like to think that because people like things in separate spaces.
People like to compartmentalize. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. There are definitely movies where you're like, okay, pick one or the other because one of them's not working. But in this, it works so seamlessly together. I'm horrified one moment. I'm laughing the next moment. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm scared.
Exactly.
Well, and then my TV just turned off.
Okay, bye-bye, TV.
Bye. But yeah, I mean, I love that ending. And then, like I said, you get all the pulling apart of blood and guts, and I do love how Archer just finds his son, didn't completely disregard the body. Just like, I'm taking you home. Also, that kid was kind of an asshole, so
probably best he talks less now.
Yeah, probably best he does talk less, because he was bullying sweet little angel baby Alex and being kind of a dick about it.
I also like that, I thought, man, he doesn't check if Justine, who he just dropped on the floor, is okay. He just walks off to find his son. And I was like, don't ask if she's okay. I'm like, you know what, though? If I were a parent, fuck you, fuck all these kids. I got my kid.
Yeah. They're
not even moving, so someone's going to find them. They're standing on a front lawn. They'll be fine.
He was also under a spell, too, so he probably had no idea what he was doing.
Yeah. Well, no, his spell had broken at that point.
Well, I'm saying he had just come out from being under a spell. And I never saw witchcraft coming when they reveal, and they don't even necessarily tell you that, but it's revealed when Marcus and his husband give Gladys the bowl of water, which was, I double took, I had to shake my head like, what? When I saw that in theaters, I was like, a bowl? Yep. I was like, are we lapping this up like a dog? Like, oh no, you're doing, yeah. And then when she snapped the twig, I was like, oh, this is some witchcraft shit. Oh, I never saw that coming. Did you have any inclination that witchcraft would be involved in this?
No, I mean, they had like a blinking sign over the top of the film, and I still didn't get that shit. I was like, oh.
Interesting.
Coming out of left field, guys.
Yeah, I kept trying to figure out, like, okay, are we going to get the kids back? Where did they go? Is this like some fucking cult or something? Anybody who says this movie is predictable is a fucking flat out liar. I do not believe anyone could have ever predicted, except for maybe being like, oh, I see witch there. Maybe this is going to be about witches. Okay, cool. But the level of, like, the specificity on how this was going on, I've heard people say, oh, Weapons was so predictable. Really? Or am I just stupid? Because I feel like it's not predictable.
It's not.
I was going to say, it does not feel predictable for the twist of the movie that she's doing witchcraft. And I like that you get to see her do kind of 3 different spells. One where she summons the people, which is, she can summon, like, she has that witch's little pot that she spits in, which was gross, rings the bell and all the children, run to the house. Then she has to get an item from someone to wrap it around the twig and then snaps it to attack them. And then there was one other thing she did. There's like 3 different spells she can do. And they want to do a prequel to this, which I believe Cregger is on board for. And I think it can be done. I don't know how. I believe in him. I just don't know how he could possibly take the story of established witchcraft and somehow give us a twist on it. Because his movies have some variation of like a reveal. Yeah. So it makes me wonder, like, what the fuck would be the reveal in that?
Yeah, and I'm interested because, I told you I'm working on my young Aunt Gladys piece.
Yes.
And I looked up how old she was because I was like, what year? I want to get period accurate clothing for that.
Yeah.
Because why not? And so I looked it up, and she's like 200. She's based on when she's saying consumption and stuff. She's about 200 years old. So it puts her in the 1800s, which is why she got those puffy sleeves I drew on her.
Interesting.
So what I was curious about is her clothes are reading very 70s. Which means at a certain point, she stopped updating her wardrobe.
Well, I mean, most parents, they just hit a point where that's their style.
Yes, but like 180 years in, you're like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're going to go way the hell back, or we're going to just go back to a little bit younger. And at what point did she hit old if she's this old?
Yeah, because it's hinted at, she's sick. That's what she tells Alex. And there's a line of dialogue where she goes, I was hoping your mom and dad would make me feel better, giving me the impression that she is somehow feeding off of their life force. And that's why Alex is like, well, can I get you water? Can I take you to the hospital? And she's like, no, you can get me the cards. You give me a personal item from all the kids in your class so I can like drink their blood or some shit. So it's assumed that she has to feed a certain amount for a certain time. And I'm assuming she was going to eat all of those kids, but she never got to because, they got rescued.
And, what's interesting is this is her downfall. And she's living, honestly, if you think about it, she's living pretty fucking brazenly because she is going out a lot.
Yeah.
She went after the principal. She took a classroom full of kids. She took a cop. All of that. And she doesn't move the cop car. She doesn't pick up the mail. She just, she is really heavily relying on the cops being bad at their jobs.
Well, small. Go to a small town. They don't have the manpower.
But also, small towns tend to know everything about everyone.
That's true.
And so I wonder if at this point, because Alex's parents were talking about how old and how sick she was, and they didn't think she was going to make it much longer. If this was just she was getting desperate because she was so far advanced, getting so sick, that she was getting desperate and being bolder to try to survive, and that's what ends up biting her in the ass.
See, and I went the other way with it. I think maybe, well, yours makes more sense, but maybe she got kind of just complacent and more of no one can touch me.
Oh, no, she definitely has that. That's what fucks her over is her also.
I think her ego is what really fucks her over.
Her ego and a lack of care with how she handles things. Like Alex, she didn't need to go straight to face stabbing to threaten his parents. But now you've scared him so bad, you have seared the entire situation in his mind. He now knows exactly how you do your trick.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was a stupid move to show someone else if they could easily do it. And she didn't count on him remembering that. She counted on the fear. And she definitely did get too bold in that. Yeah, I think in desperation, she got bold. She didn't want to waste time or mince words. But I think that's what did her in.
No, I 100% agree. And that's another complaint I've heard is that, I guess everyone can do witchcraft. It's like, yeah, you don't have to. What? It's like it's black magic. You do spells out of books. You don't have to be. Anybody can do that. That was someone's complaint was, how can everyone can do magic, I guess. Like, well, if you watch her and how she does it and you redo it, that's how magic would be done.
Practical Magic cleared this up years ago.
Oh.
Everybody has a little magic in them.
There you go.
And frankly, it's things like Harry Potter that imply that only certain people have magic. The whole magical bloodline. That's a fantasy thing. Well, magic in terms of witchcraft and the Salem witch trials and stuff, that is a learned practice.
Exactly. Plus it was taken from one of the branches of her tree.
Exactly.
It's not like he just got a twig outside. He pulled hers out and did that. So
it's not. There's two different realms of magic.
Right.
There is the fantasy world where certain people have magic, and then there is a world where you can learn, a world where it is a thing you can learn and be taught and trained in.
Yeah.
And she straight up showed him how to do it. And
She really did.
and if she is really blood related, it probably strengthens his odds of being able to do it.
Yeah, that was also a question I had. I was wondering if they were actually related or if she was just, this is the house, this is what I'm going to do. And that's something they could easily, it's entirely possible it's left kind of ambiguous because they could go into explaining that a little bit more with a prequel or a sequel. It could be her adventures and how she landed up at that house, you know.
Yeah, I told you I was waiting for that scene like they have in Cabin in the Woods where it's like, I don't even think Kurt has a cousin.
Right.
It's like, I don't think she even has an aunt.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is actually our aunt. I did want to put in a little clip here from our Antlers episode because Corey had some headcanon that connected Aunt Gladys from Antlers to Weapons because, funny enough, it is the same actress in both movies.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to insert that small clip here because I took it out of the episode as it kind of spoiled Weapons. So, Corey, take it away.
I know everybody jokes that there's a Whitest Kids You Know episode that's actually the prequel to Weapons, but I am going to say that this is the true prequel to Weapons because the principal is the same woman that plays Aunt Gladys.
No, it's not. Are you?
Yes, it is.
Are you serious?
It is. She plays Gladys in Weapons. So my headcanon is the Wendigo kills her, and the ancient Native American magic that brought about the Wendigo revives her, and that's why she's able to do magic and travel all over and become Aunt Gladys.
Shut the fuck up! She is! What? Oh my god! I love that! Oh my god, that just makes everything that makes me love both movies even more because even though it's not that's the headcanon about it all. Oh my god, that's so goddamn funny. So yeah, that's a fun little just headcanon of Antlers being connected to Weapons, which I thought was very fun. I know a lot of people too constantly saying, oh, this is a commentary on school shootings, and it's really, I mean, it can be a commentary on whatever you want, but Zach Kreger has said it is not that. That was not his intention. His intention was what we've already mentioned. It was his, because he struggled with alcoholism,
Yeah.
I believe as well. But to me, the giant gun over the house, and Zach Kreger is literally on record saying, I don't know what it is. It's just in there and I like it. He like, quote,
Deal with it, people.
Quote, he says, I don't know. It's a very important moment for me in this movie. And to be frank with you, I think what I love about this is that I don't understand it. So that's what he says. But for me, it's just their weapon, like Aunt Gladys is weaponizing people. That's what it means to me.
And also, I think we've established by being people that if you think about your dreams, there's regularly shit that doesn't make sense or doesn't
Correct.
mean anything. I told you the other day I had a dream that we were decorating the backyard by picking out wallpaper for the walls.
Yeah.
What? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make any sense.
But there is an interesting connection because there was a Bill 217, that was the assault weapons ban of 2022, and it was aimed at banning semi-automatic firearms after mass shootings.
Yep.
So that's interesting that it's 217 on a gun, but again, Kreger's just like, I don't know why it's there. So
Yeah.
it's like such a David Lynch answer. It's like, why is that in there? I don't know. Like, it just is. Anything else you wanted to mention? I don't know. I think I got through everything.
No, I think we did.
Ending is bleak as fuck. What do you mean? Alex's parents are being fed soup somewhere else, so they're basically brain dead.
But he's got a nice aunt now.
All of the kids some of them have started talking. It's kind of a bleak ending.
I think it's bleak where it's at, but at the same time, Alex is no longer living to keep all these other people alive.
Fair.
He is now in a better home.
Yeah.
Archer got his son back, and now with his second chance is not going to let that chance slip by him. And, the kids are starting to heal.
Yeah, that's true.
So there is some bleakness, but there is like a little ray of hope that maybe their futures are going to be better.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just not that big. And everybody smiled and nodded slowly and walked away.
I guess the last shot of just James's son, Archer's son, James, over his shoulder, just looking, she just looks brain dead. I'm like, man, that's sad. But like, I mean, I guess at least he's alive. Because that's something they don't go into it's assumed that the longer you're under this spell, the more it kind of affects you.
She's taking more from them.
She's taking more from them. So that's why Archer is able to snap back to reality very quickly, because he was only under it for a couple of minutes, where all the kids and the parents, being the ones that were under it the most, they are probably going to be fucked up forever. So, you got anything else?
No.
No? All right. Also, I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the episode, and I totally forgot. That's my bad, because ADHD is very fun. John was supposed to be on this episode, but he decided to be a adult and go take care of his kids and his family. He just doesn't.
Wow, who even does that?
No, this was going to be his last episode with the show for a while, just because he's got 2 kids and he's very busy, and he's being a good dad. So, John, this one's for you. If you're listening out there, we're going to miss you here, and, Gabby will have to do for the time being. Wow. So, hot take. I already kind of mentioned it. I don't know if you're saying, and it's not really a hot take, it's just my opinion. If anybody's out there saying that this movie was predictable and boring, I just don't believe you. I'm sorry.
What an amazing mind you must have.
I don't know if that's a pompous thing to say, but when people are like, it was so boring. Like, what part were you bored?
It wasn't Fast and Furious.
I'm not saying everyone has to like this movie, but there are certain movies that are released that I don't understand. What's your definition of not boring? Give me a movie that you think is not boring, so I can get a sense of
scale.
Scale. There we go. You got a hot take? It's kind of hard to have one with a movie this great.
No.
So funny enough, Hooked for me wasn't until like when I fully got enveloped in the movie is when Justine goes to Alex's house and sees all the newspaper on the windows. I was like, all right, I'm in. What about you?
I was hooked on the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I was already like invested in watching it, so
I was going to see it no matter what because it was Kreger, but I'm talking about the actual point of the movie where my interests were fully piqued. I was like, ooh, okay, something fucky's going on.
The trailer.
I'm never lost. I assume you're never lost.
No.
Horror moment for me. I mean, it could be any of the Gladys jump scares because they're all fucking horrifying, but it's the kids in the basement for me when, his real name's Austin, but when James goes down there and then they all flip around, I was like, no, I'm good.
I'm sorry.
Fuck, I'm sorry.
Brief shout out to him.
It's a good name. Austin Abrams, yeah.
I meant him playing James.
But I'm just saying, it's his,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying shout out to him.
He's going to be in the new Resident Evil. It was my foot hitting the trash can.
Yeah, he's going to be in the new Resident Evil. But no, he did such a good job as that guy who is definitely on drugs, tweaking around, and just like the way his mannerisms and how he talked and acted, it was like so spot on. Like, we've met that guy.
Yeah.
I worked with that guy.
Everybody knows a James. Or has at some point.
You've met him at some point in your life.
Even if it was at a party in high school for 5 minutes, you've met a James.
Yeah, someone who's like, don't put my purse anywhere he can get near it. But he did such an excellent job. I forgot he was also the douchey popular guy in Do Revenge.
Yeah.
And it was like, I can't wait to see what else you do because you're doing an amazing job with the roles you're getting.
Yeah, keep going. He was briefly in Scary Stories as the jock. The jock, but Harold. That scene. So, horror moment.
Oh God. Probably where
needles to the eye.
That was to the cheek.
Okay.
No, I was thinking where Benedict Wong smashes his face into his husband's face over and over and over again, and I'm just like, oh my God, you're using your face. That was
my favorite kill.
The face on your face.
All right, well, that was my favorite kill. What do you got for favorite kill? Is that the same thing?
Yeah, that was pretty stressful, but probably Gladys though.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And I do think it's funny, by the way, I did send you a TikTok of the guy who played Benedict Wong's husband, because I was like, yeah, I know that guy. That guy.
He's from TikTok.
No, I was like, I've seen him in something, I know it. And you were like, I don't see him from anything we know. I'm like, damn. So I looked it up and I'm like, he looks just like this guy from TikTok. Okay, because he is that guy from TikTok, and I just didn't know he did TikToks. But hey, look, there he is.
He's doing things. My favorite character, so obviously, is James.
Yeah.
But I wanted to give an honorable mention to Captain Ed because just the conversation he had with Archer, I was like, even though I know you could be doing a better job, just what he was saying, he's like, what are you like? Archer was trying to blame Justine, and Ed's like, what do you see that I don't? Like, what I don't understand. And also not telling anybody about what Paul did by punching James in the face and the whole camera incident. He's like, it'll be scrubbed off in 30 days. Just lay low. I'm like, you know what, Ed, I'd go to bat for you. You a real one.
Yeah.
Like, just as a genuine human being, Ed seems like a really level-headed, like, okay, let's not bring it to anybody's attention. Just go about your business as long as he doesn't complain. But yeah, James was the funniest part of this goddamn movie.
James was such a strong and accurate depiction that
of a tweaker.
Yeah, and how he did everything was like levity you needed in this very tense moment. But I would like to give a shout out to Josh Brolin as Archer because it's not a character you like. He's harassing people. You don't like him because he's harassing someone who didn't do anything, as far as you can tell. And it's because you follow her first, you can pretty much establish she's not involved.
Right.
And the stress, the hopelessness she feels not being involved, but still being blamed. Being
the, what's it called?
Scapegoat.
Thank you.
But Josh Brolin giving that depiction of the father who's living in that regret in real time, and he's trying to find somewhere to put that blame. And the moment that she's in danger, though, the guy, like, the man steps up and is no longer, I need to attack her. Oh no, she's really getting attacked. I still need to help her. Like, he actually steps up and defends her, and then drops any future blame on her. Like, he realizes, okay, maybe she's not involved at all.
Well, he has probably the greatest character arc.
Yeah, he becomes like someone actually who's actually participating.
Yeah, like I said, his character arc is great. And something I'm just realizing now as we're talking about it is all the perspectives we get are from a different side of what's happening. You have Justine, who is the teacher that didn't do it. You have Archer, who is the parent who thinks she did it. You have the principal, Marcus, who doesn't really know what the fuck's going on. Then you have James, a complete third-person perspective. And then Paul, who's kind of just attached to Justine. So you have all these different perspectives of this one situation. And it's really interesting to see how they're all reacting to the core event. I don't know why I'm just realizing this now, but I think that's fascinating.
Yeah. It gives you this full scope and the idea that, other people exist outside of your world. When you get to see those other perspectives, you get to see this is their world too.
Yeah.
Because people tend to forget that just because it's your reality doesn't mean it's theirs.
Yeah, to anyone who's...
Not in the sense of facts. I mean, in the sense of how you perceive things to be. You may not necessarily know everything that's happening.
Oh, I was taking that a different way. I was gonna shout out to the people who stand in the middle of the aisle with their shopping cart and then take up the other part of the aisle with their body like they're the only person in the fucking world. Get out of my way. Social, like spatial, like awareness is just not a thing these days. People are not aware of their surroundings or who else is in them. I need you to fucking move. I'm 6'5" and I take up the least amount of space at the grocery store because I'm always against a wall.
Facts.
It's not hard. Anyways, least favorite character for me is Justin Long's wife. She's like, didn't want to help out Archer at all. And then he just berates Justin Long, like, give me the footage. I need the footage. And she's just standing there in the doorway with her hands on her hips. But I do love Sarah Paxton. She's great. Zach Kreger's actual real life wife.
I don't really have a least favorite. I guess Paul. Only for the perspective of... Only because of how he acted in regards to his girlfriend and stuff. And like the women in his life and how, not to say either of them were perfect. I don't know them.
We don't know.
And they're not real people. But
not that you know.
But Paul really liked jerking them both around. And that was just not cool. So
it's the alcohol, man. I'm telling you. Favorite line for me is from James, of course, when he doesn't want to come into the police station. He goes, I'm phobic.
Shit, that's so funny when he says it too. Like, yep, I'm phobic.
Of what? No, I'm just phobic.
Nondescript phobic.
My review would, if I wrote reviews on Letterboxd instead of shamelessly plugging my own show, it would be, I'll never look at soup the same way again. All right. Anything else you have? Oh, did you have a favorite line was phobic too?
Duh.
Yeah, I cackled when I saw that, heard that, whatever.
Felt
it. Post-review stuff here, taglines. This is the dumbest. Look at this. Last night at 2:17 a.m., every child from Mrs. Gandy's class woke up, got out of bed. Like, that's too long. That's not a tagline, that's a paragraph.
Yep.
The most harmless things can hurt you, and they never came back, and Into the Dark. Trivia, to further capitalize on the themes of the movies, theaters listed showtimes at 2:17, which I saw. Netflix was ready to pay more money up front than New Line, but an assured theatrical release and New Line's track record with horror were the better selling point. Thank you for going to New Line. And that was a good deal for everybody because they made shitloads of money. Just like with Barbarian, Zach Cregger claimed he came up with the premise first and worked out the rest of the plot later. Quote, I didn't have an outline. I didn't know what it was about. It was just like, let the movie show itself to me. I want to watch the movie as I'm writing it. Like Julia Garner and Alden Ehrenreich's character, Zach Cregger was a closet alcoholic and has been in recovery for over 10 years. Rock on, brother. And the look of Paul is a direct reference to John C. Reilly from Magnolia, 1999. Oh, wow. Goofs. The detectives visit the house to perform an investigation / welfare check, but fail to interview Alex's parents. Even though, Gladys is like, oh, he had a stroke, but, didn't want to see the parents. Rated 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb, 3.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd, has a 93% on the tomato meter, and an 85% audience score. What did you give this?
5.
5. Gave it a 5 as well. Frightmare certified. Slap. No shock there. Similar movies according to Letterboxd. We have Barbarian, Us, Hereditary, Cobweb, and It. Similar movies according to IMDb. We have Sinners, Bring Her Back, Superman, 2025.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Barbarian, and 29 years later.
Must have missed that one.
Went straight to DVD. Let's do some funny reviews here. I've got my standard 5, probably.
I've got 3.
Ooh, wow. You got to just start coming with more, man.
No, there's so many. We don't need to read 8 reviews.
Fine. I guess I'll go first then. 4 stars from Miko. I'm just glad we're seeing kids go outside again instead of being glued to their iPad screens.
4 stars from James Shafrillis.
Wow.
Propaganda designed to get you to buy more soup.
Don't the Campbell Soups, aren't they supposed to roll back to us like the commercials from the 90s?
Campbell Soups is going under the way they're going.
Damn. Not if this kid's buying all of them. 4.5 from Zoe Rose Bryant. Hilarious how anyone ever thought that the teacher was involved in the class's disappearance, as if an entire room of children has ever once listened to what we tell them to do.
Facts.
I think Heather could relate to that one.
Probably. 5 stars from Trin. There's nothing scarier than a blood ritual in unblended blue eyeshadow.
Unblended blue eyeshadow. Oh my God. This is funny just because we just did Longlegs, but 5 stars from Cobb. Gladys and Longlegs would be best friends. Is that, are you out?
No, I got one more.
Oh, one more. Okay, go ahead.
5 stars from Jay. See, I'm bald, so she could never get me.
That scene specifically is a perfect example of how it goes from horror to comedy. It flip-flops. Because when she comes out of the house with the scissors, you're like, I'm kind of scared, but it's also very funny. And then she's at the door, and you're like, all right, fuck this. And then she just walks away, and you're like, oh, okay, this is hilarious. Trunk opens. Fuck. Right? Just like back and forth from scared to laughing. 4.5 stars from ESO. Barbarian ran, so weapons decided to run faster.
Yep.
And last but not least, we have 4 stars from User Wake. Chappelle Roan in 50 years hosting the Pink Pony Club in her basement.
Chapel Roan.
What did I say?
Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle Roan.
No.
Chapel, sorry. Did you hear the rest of it, though?
Yes.
Okay. Good God. If you enjoy the show, please rate and review on your favorite podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Slasher, Blue Sky Threads, and YouTube at frightmarespodcast. Our email is stayspooky@outlook.com. You can follow me personally on Letterboxd at Dr. Proctor. You are
Watson LMP90.
Booyah! Be sure to follow our sister podcast, The Shameless Picture Show, and also check out the Dead-Eyed Millennial Film Club as well. Next week, you are going to be getting a double dosage of Frightmares because we have the top 10 of 2025, where Jason, Spencer, Corey, and you will be on 4 different segments like we usually do. But we have one more bonus episode for the year, and I will be talking to 3 out of 5 directors from the film Satanic Hispanics. Yes, Eduardo Sanchez will be back. Yes, there will be 2 more, but you'll have to come back to see who they are. So until then, stay tuned and
Stay spooky.